at NIFT, your thinking process is valued a lot more than your final design. It is respected and it shows that you are not just doing something because you want to do it. You have a reason for doing it.
Today we are going to discuss one of the most crucial topic of all time, that is how to prepare for NIFT without going to a coaching center. National Institute of Fashion Technology. This college brings back a lot of memories because I cleared NIFT in 2000, that is almost 20 years back. At that point of time, the entrance exam for NIFT was still easier. And now it has been 30 years and there are a lot of students who are now interested. So that has actually made the whole entrance examination very, very difficult. A lot of students are actually going to coaching centers to get better preparations. Having said that, I also want to tell you that there are a lot of students who crack examination without any coaching centers. So today we have a special guest who have cracked NIFT without going to any coaching center. She secured 77th rank in All India NIFT examination. She herself told me that she started doing the coaching center but she didn't like it and it was not working for her. And after cracking the whole examination with her own training, she now says that it is sometimes better for candidates of not joining a coaching center. So today she's going to share her insights on how to prepare for NIFT without any coaching center. Let's welcome Ashni, who is pursuing her fashion design course from NIFT Delhi, and hear her story of her preparation.
The NIFT entrance exam is divided into two rounds. The first round has the general ability test, that is the GAT, and the creative ability test, that is the CAT. And then if you clear the first round, there's a second round, which is called the situation test. So I'll start with the GAT. GAT is a 2 hours long exam, and now it has negative marking. Back in the day when I was giving the exams, it did not have negative marking. Now it does. That is something to be careful of. For every wrong answer, you get 0.25 marks deducted. That is 1/4 of your total marks for that question. There are 100 questions in this exam, and those 100 are divided into 4. So we have 50 of those questions that are English based, 20 are maths based, 15 are analytical abilities, that is logical reasoning, and 15 are general knowledge and current affairs. So that's the composition of that written exam. GAT is a multiple choice question answer system. And it is for 2 hours. It holds 30% of your total marks, and now it has negative marking where you get 0.25 marks deducted for every wrong answer. Then we have the creative ability test. This test is conducted on the same day as your GAT. It's a 3 hours exam, so that makes it a total of 5 hours of exam in one day. Which seems a little stressful, but there's a break in between where you can eat. And CAT holds 50% of the total marks. If you do well in the CAT, half the battle is won. And my suggestion for CAT, for preparing for CAT, is observe. The key to being good at designing or just drawing in general is to be a good observer. What I mean by that is, even when you're in a car, if you're not driving, then look out the window and don't just look at it. Observe and take in what you see. When I was preparing, I used to look out and I used to look at the hoarding. So I remember I don't know how I remember this, but I remember a Zomato ad on a huge hoarding only had one line of text, which was a very funny line, and one visual, and that's it. And they had a lot of negative space, and that was to be able to focus on the one sentence that they wanted to focus on in that ad. So it was so impressionable that I still have that image in my head. And that is what a good ad is about. And that is what a good design is about. So something like this will also help you for your final exam, because that exam is not just about answering the questions, it's also about observing and how good of an observer you are. For another example, I remember my time, there was a question on sequential drawing of a rose, from a bud to a final rose. And one way to do it was to draw a rose through the processes. But how I did it was I made a road in perspective, and I had NDMC pots, and then I showed buds in that. So for every 4 steps, I did a road in perspective, and then NDMC pots, and then flowers. So I did not just answer the question, but I also showed the examiner that I knew that there are NDMC pots in Delhi, and I knew what NDMC is, and I knew how to draw in perspective. Perspective was not even asked. So that's the way to go. You need to add on, but make sure that you're not overpowering the answer. The rose still has to be as evident as just a single rose. Other than that, for preparation of CAT, I would really suggest that if you can, devote time every day. Even if it's just 15 minutes, devote time every day, because that makes a lot of difference. Memory drawing does play a lot of role in the CAT exam as well. So when you're practicing every day, you can take a random object and try and draw that. For example, I have a bottle lying right in front of me right now. I'll just pick up a pencil and start drawing that on the nearest paper that I can find. And nearest paper can also be a bill or a napkin. That does not matter. What matters is how good your technical drawing is. So this helps you in your memory drawing, which is very important while you're writing that exam. Not to say that you will be asked to draw a bottle or a table, of course not. But when you're asked to draw something else, a scenery or just a room in the perspective, you will know how to draw a table. You will know how to draw a bottle. So that will help you. So even if you're drawing, say, 5 objects every day, you will cover a lot of objects by the day that you are to sit for the exam. Other than that, practice a lot of sample papers as well. So that brings me to my next point. Once you're done covering every aspect of the written exam, that is maths, English, analytical abilities, GK, current affairs, and the creative practice, you will move on to giving sample papers. So this should ideally be the last month. This is what I did, and it worked for me. So I really would like to suggest it to everyone who's trying. In the last month, sit for timed exams. Ask your mother or your brother or your sister, whoever, to time the exams for you and attempt it like you would attempt it when you're sitting for the real exam. Time yourself, do every section along with CAT and GAT, and then check your answers. Obviously, you cannot check the CAT, but the GAT part, you should compare your answers with the real answers just to find out where you're lacking. This will give you a very clear perspective of which is your weakness and which is your strength. So if, for example, GK is your weakness, then you'll focus on that. If maths is your weakness, then you'll focus on that. More specifically, sometimes people have problems in a specific topic of logical reasoning. Just focus on that specific topic, because during your last month, you will not have a lot of time to spare on doing everything again. So the better way to do is to focus on your weaknesses and correct those as much as you can. That's about preparing for the first round. And if and when you clear your first round of exams, you're already done with 80% of your final marks. 30% in the GAT and 50% in the CAT. Now you're left with 20% for the situation test, which again is a 2-hour exam. And situation test, You get a set of materials in this test that is provided by NIFT. This exam is always held in the NIFT centers, and you go to the center, they'll give you a kit of materials and they'll give you a list of topics to choose from. And you have to create whatever that list of topics is offering you within that time limit, and you also have to do a write-up. So you're evaluated on your creative use of materials, your material handling, how you visualize the space. So there's always a cardboard that is given to you, which is A4 size, and you make your objects on that. And how you use your space of that cardboard, that is also very important. Then you have the neatness of the model, how neat is the model and how neatly you've arranged every material. That is something that you're marked on, evaluated on. And there's also construction that you're evaluated on, how well you construct your entire model. Every year you get a lot of options that you can choose from when you're supposed to make the model. In my case, the options were between space designing and between accessory designing. And then space designing was divided into three. So we had an option between classroom and kitchen, and there was one more space. And then we had the option of head accessories, and there were three themes that we were given. So the theme that I chose for my head accessory was aquatic life. Now, aquatic life is a very varied, a very broad topic, and that's how usually the topics for situation tests are. They allow you to explore as much as you'd want to. So I chose octopus as my inspiration. And for the write-up, we are supposed to give a write-up as well. For the write-up, I actually drew an entire octopus, and I showed the examiner where I'm taking my inspiration from for which part of the head accessory. For example, I had tentacles coming out, so that is a direct pick up from a real octopus. And the little circles that are on the base of the tentacles, I use that for the rim of the entire head. So every inspired piece or every part of my head accessory that I designed was an inspiration from a certain part of the octopus. And I made sure that I'm drawing each part and inspiration onto my write-up for the examiner to understand what my thinking process is. At NIFT, your thinking process is valued a lot more than your final design. It is respected, and it shows that you are not just doing something because you want to do it. You have a reason for doing it. So it is very important to communicate that through your write-ups. Even in CATs, it's very important to communicate your thought process, because that is something that is respected more than the final design, and you will be scored better if you're able to communicate your design, because you're not standing with the examiner to explain it. You have to do it through the write-up that you have. So make sure that your write-up is really well written. Situation test is all about 3D objects. It has to be a 3D model, and we have materials that allow it to become 3D. So we have bamboo sticks, we have cardboard, we have gateway sheets, we have pastel sheets, all of these things. The material is enough to be able to create the 3D object, and it is very important that you use at least 80% of the material that is given to you, because that is also something you're evaluated on. How much material you're given, how much of wastage there is, and how much you've actually used, and how you've used it. All of these things are important. Also, a suggestion for the situation test preparation: make sure you're sitting and timing yourself and doing it within the time limit, because I speak from personal experience. 2 hours sounds like an adequate time to do it. It's really not. It's a very short amount of time to be able to pull off something like that you're supposed to in a situation test. Make sure when you're practicing, practice within the time frame and with the write-up. If you practice without the write-up, you might not have time to write the write-up during your real exam. So make sure that you're timing yourself really well and you write the write-up really well, because that is what is going to be you for the examiner. It's not just the model, it's the write-up. Write-up is talking on behalf of you. So that's that. and have your designs, even if they're rough, a little rough sketched on the write-up sheet, because that again, like I said, will help you communicate your ideas, your design process to the examiner.